after the whale's aid last time. Kotaro begins showing signs of life, under everyone's watchful eyes, as heaven is restored, and always engraved symbols activate. Kotaro transforms into his rider form. A rider emblem materializes. His power surges anew, driven by his mission. Kotaro prepares for the final battle. To protect humanity's remnants, he confronts Nobuhiko alone. Nobuhiko stands firm, refusing to change his path. "I'll crush humanity beneath me." Their ideals clash. Both assume transformation stances. This ends here. Though raised as brothers, and bound by deep bonds, their opposing convictions leave no room for mercy. The battle intensifies. With each brutal exchange, their mirrored fighting styles lead to identical counters. Blows land with equal force, neither gaining advantage. At deadlocked strength, their final strikes connect, targeting each other's weak points. Amidst severed limbs, they rip off their own armor, transforming them into weapons. The brutal melee continues. As the fight drags on, an eerie rhythm emerges. Advantage shifts constantly, counterstrikes matching every blow. Their climactic clash ends with Nobuhiko's dirty trick, channeling dark energy through his enhanced belt. Nobuhiko blasts Kotaro away. Kotaro tanks the hit, mirroring the attack. He unleashes a custom rider kick, countering with equal force. Nobuhiko's hidden blade impales Kotaro suddenly. Seizing the opportunity, Nobuhiko deals another strike, pinning him to a transformer. The brutal beating continues. Our conflict was inevitable. From father's choice onward, we were destined to clash. Through bloodied lips, Kotaro gasps his rebuttal. "Father believed in our bond, that we'd never fight." Summoning last strength, he dislodges the blade. His enhanced physique holds, as he faces Nobuhiko. Nobuhiko cheats again. Using telekinetic grasp, Kotaro redirects the force. As Nobuhiko charges, he unveils a new finisher, turning the battle's tide. The decisive strike leaves Nobuhiko dying. Seeing his fallen rival, Kotaro rasps his vision. Kaijin and humans equal, can love freely, build shared futures. Nobuhiko's eyes widen. Epiphany dawning. Memories surface. Of comradeship past, his betrayal's cost becomes painfully clear. With final regret, he offers his kingstone to Kotaro's hands. As life fades away, twin kingstones glow. The blinding light fades. The demon slayer becomes what he fought. True victor emerges. Scheming Bishia. From 50-year plot to Nobuhiko's coup, her status has remained unchanged. Now he stands before the Lord of Ultima, basking in the glory bestowed by the Lord of Ultima. Kotaro, now fully evolved, has transformed into a completely new form. Under Kotaro's unique influence, the Satan saber found by suddenly emits a crimson glow. Realizing the Lord of Ultima's intent, she embarks on continuing Kotaro's destiny. The black sun that once defeated the Lord of Ultima, as the kingstone flickers incessantly and the eerie heartbeat pulses, he becomes the very lord he despised. Now transformed into this new form, his remaining sanity slips away, soon to become nourishment for monsters. Donami learns of these developments. Despite recent public scrutiny, the Lord's emergence secures his power. His authority remains unchallenged. Suddenly needing to relieve himself, Donami enters the monster district, mocking them while urinating, calling monsters worse than waste. The modified Riku appears, with the bat monster missing a leg, blocking Donami's path. After settling their vendetta, Riku returns to human form. This grudge stems from history. Riku's true identity revealed. Grandchild of the Kingstone Keeper, Donami stole the Kingstone during the chapel assault, torn from young Riku's mouth, and murdered his grandfather. Thus Riku's actions are rightful retribution. Meanwhile, Oe ventures forth. Inside Gorgum's headquarters, spots Kotaro's battle machine, confirming her suspicions. Honoring Kotaro's last wish, she ascends the tower, recalling Professor Akazuki's words. Years ago, Akazuki created a secret weapon against the Lord, the Satan saber hidden as a supposed Lord-protecting blade, publicly misrepresented as the Lord's guardian weapon. As Aoi presses onward, Gorgum's monster legion blocks her path. Aoi summons her belt, with determined gestures. Facing countless monsters, Aoi lands several heavy blows, sending them sprawling, overwhelmed by their numbers. Despite her strength, she struggles desperately. After fierce combat, Whale and Octopus arrive, distracting the monsters, urging Aoi to find the Lord. Reluctantly obeying, for Kotaro's sake, she charges forward. Her efforts finally pay off. Reaching her destination, Aoi finds Kotaro, but the man before her rejects her touch violently, lashing out instinctively. Witnessing his madness, Aoi reverts to human form. This sight sparks Kotaro's consciousness. Brief lucidity returns. Approaching Aoi resolutely, he requests final mercy, placing hands on her shoulders. Understanding his plea, using Kotaro's own techniques, memories flashing by, strikes land methodically. Final sequence approaching. Aoi alters the finishing move. Blade pierces his core. Watching Kotaro crumble to dust, Aoi's scream echoes painfully. The battle concludes. Safeguarding both Kingstones, she remains in his home. Despite the Lord's demise, monster discrimination persists throughout society. Prejudice remains rampant. Accepting her destiny, Aoi leads monsterkind, continuing Kotaro's legacy, fighting for coexistence. Until that future, the Prime Minister declares, peace exists only in dreams. True protection requires military strength. Hearing war preparations, Aoi knows the struggle will be long and arduous. At the story's end, the former trio gazed at the symbols on the banner. The weather abruptly changed. Under the trio's watchful gaze, a new solar eclipse emerged once more. How tragic was the fate of Lord of Ult. As the pioneer of the Kaijin era, he did nothing wrong, yet was exploited by greedy humans as fuel for their utopian ambitions. Even in retirement, he endured heart-wrenching agony. During World War II, Prime Minister Donami of Japan established a secret unit to enhance military strength using prisoners and civilians for biochemical experiments. After years of research, Professors Akazuki and Minami, amid a devastating locust plague, with perfect timing and conditions, created the first locust Kaijin. However, the modified being lacked conscious thought, retaining only survival instincts. Through continued observation, they discovered Lord Ultima's essence could merge with genes to create specific Kaijin types. Under the Prime Minister's order, more Kaijin entered the battlefield. But as Kaijin numbers grew, Donami realized a truth. Firepower equalizes all. Though Kaijin were stronger, they remained flesh and blood. They couldn't determine war outcomes. Under Allied nations' assault, Japan suffered devastating defeat and signed restrictive treaties. Surviving Kaijin faced discrimination upon return. The treacherous Prime Minister not only ignored their plight, but spread misinformation, destroying modification evidence. Witnessing the Kaijin's fate, Professors Akazuki and Minami felt guilt. To end Kaijin suffering, during a solar eclipse, they implanted 2 Kingstones into Kotaro and Nobuhiko, tasking them to defeat Lord Ultima. To prevent mishaps, they presented Satan Sabers as Lord Ultima's protective weapons. Years later, Kotaro and Nobuhiko matured, but Kingstones caused chronic abdominal pain. They then heard Lord Ultima's fluid could alleviate their condition. Their theory proved correct. Applying the fluid instantly healed their wounds. But Lord Ultima detected this. Seeing the kind children, Lord Ultima showed compassion, letting them escape. This marked the modified duo's first encounter with Lord Ultima. After this meeting, they matured over time, growing into young men, and joined Gorgon. There they met Carrie, the Sword Saint, 3 priests, and others including Oliver. Being inexperienced, their affection for Carrie proved uncontrollable. At Carrie's request, they kidnapped the Prime Minister's grandson as Kaijin to demand equality from Donami. Surprisingly, Donami cared not for family, threatening to order mass extermination of Kaijin. To stop this, they must surrender Lord Ultima and use equal voting rights to revoke previous treaties.
創世を渡せだと。創世は神だ。人間ごときが触れていい存在ではない。
Facing Donami's ruthlessness, Darum protected the Kaijin by accepting Donami's terms. The hot-tempered Sword Saint refused to let Kaijin be tools, leading them into hiding. Carrie revealed through secret channels, only by defeating Lord Ultima could this conflict end. She disclosed that 2 Kingstones could control Lord Ultima's fate. Under Kelly's persuasive speech and her charming actions, Kotaro and Nobuhiko surrender the Emperor Stones. The trio plan to defeat Creation King after the agreed-upon time. But when the deadline comes, Kelly doesn't show up at the site. Nobuhiko goes searching for her, while Kotaro faces it alone. Meanwhile, cunning Kodu uses monetary persuasion to make Bat help him escape. During his escape, he overhears Kelly's plan and informs Sword Saint immediately. Hearing this terrifying news, Sword Saint grabs his greatsword and tracks down Kelly's location. Meanwhile, Kotaro opens the sealed gate, finally confronting Creation King. Facing transformed Kotaro, Creation King casually unleashes psychic force, blasting Kotaro meters away. A follow-up strike shatters Kotaro's leg instantly. This devastating blow leaves Kotaro immobilized. At this critical moment, guilt-ridden Bat arrives, carrying Kotaro to safety. Sword Saint arrives, coinciding with Kelly's arrival. Sword Saint swings his blade, ending Kelly's life in one strike. Oliver witnesses this scene. After dealing with Kelly, Sword Saint checks Creation King. Seizing the chance, Oliver steals both Emperor Stones. Meanwhile, Nobuhiko gets ambushed by priests. He and enraged Sword Saint get imprisoned in Gorgum Tower. Years later, Kodu becomes Prime Minister. But Sword Saint transforms too. To escape this hell, he bites off his own tongue, proving loyalty to the Prime Minister.